there's a statement that says, you know, who moved? God, Spirit, universal wisdom. It doesn't move. It doesn't change. We move. Our perception moves. Our experiences can cause us to think it moved, but it didn't. We did. And so to be grounded in principle is to be so clear about who we are, about who we really are. There's a statement that I heard years ago in this teaching. Change your thinking, change your mind, change your world. Well, I was kind of curious about that. So what does this mean? How does it work? Sound like a bunch of hocus pocus to me. Sounds too simple to me. How can changing my thinking change my mind and change my world? How can that work? So I kept asking questions about all that. And pretty soon, curiosity kind of got a hold of this cat's tail. And I had to find out. I had to find out. I did that through classes. Coming to celebrations on Sunday and talking to people that seemed to have it understood. And what I found out was that there's nothing new to know, because I already knew it. We already know this stuff. That's why it sounds so good. That's why it feels so familiar, because it's a basic spiritual principle. And from that very first class that I took, it began to make sense. It began to make sense. And this passage in the Science of Mind textbook was the hook, I guess you'd say. Whatever the nature of any principle may be, insofar as it is understood by anyone, it may be understood by all who take the time to investigate. To investigate. The study of the science of mind is a study of first cause, spirit, mind, or that invisible essence, the ultimate stuff and the intelligence from which everything comes, is the power back of creation. In the beginning was the Word, creation. Well, I was hooked, still am. Every so often there's a new worm on my hook, if you will, because I'm always evolving, we're always evolving. It was a match made in Velcro heaven. You know, it really was. And from that moment on, I've been stuck on principle. It is such a foundational part of this teaching. Principle, the perfection of God. Behind, beneath, under, over, through, as, every effect, and all experience. Everything. And so the more we are able to understand principle, the greater our knowing of it. And the more we are able to understand principle, the greater our knowing of its power to create the life we choose. So I encourage you to foster a deeper felt commitment to divine principle as the foundation for a greater life. Our center right here uses the words of Dr. Ernest Holmes as our foundation scripture. And it is this: love, harmony, and peace reign supreme. Love, harmony, and peace reign supreme. I like that. I like that. And it serves our center still. It's been about 5 years since that Spirit chose that through us. Today, I offer my foundation statement, and it's new this week. It's fresh, and this is it. Faith, trust, and clarity supports my commitment to principle. Faith, trust, and clarity supports my commitment to principle. How is that? Well, faith is a human knowing of an inner reality of the divine principle. The calm assurance that there is that God's stuff ever present. That we are in this substance of pure intelligence. That's what I know about faith. Ernest Holmes tells us, it is a beautiful and true thought to realize that everyone stands in the shadow of a mighty mind. A pure intelligence and a divine givingness. What matters is being spontaneously open to the reality of God. That's faith to me. Trust, what we think of as sacred, actually is present in everything we do. When we trust, we see the sacred in everything, as everything we do, not just on Sunday, not just at a wedding or a christening or a passing, a transition. Everyone has good ideas, but not all of them show up. Why? The idea is not backed up by belief. And so to trust, you can expect that good idea to show up. And you back it up with that trust. You cannot expect a good idea, your very best of the moment, to just become. How many have had a good idea? All of us had a good idea. We've all had a good idea. It takes the believer and the commitment to the end of that belief. Just because you said blah, blah, blah one time and turned away from it, guess what? It's like putting a gallon of gas in your car and wanting to go to Oregon. It's not going to make it. It needs more gas than that. Just like our commitment to something in our life. It takes a little more gas. It takes the believer putting his or her whole trust in the law of good, into this principle of goodness. So that's trust for me. And clarity. Clarity is an important piece of one's personal foundation. For when we are clear of mind, we more easily see from a truer perspective. A clearer consciousness, if you will. And thus our life show up as intended more of the time. More of the time. So you can see how clarity, backed up by the trust, with this gas in your car, how it keeps the way open. It's a constant, say, spiritual GPS of our direction. By keeping the way clear. When we come to know our inner God, which is our true self, we will know that the divine is in everybody. When we come to know that our inner God, which is our true self, we will know that the divine is in everybody. Look around the room just for a moment. And look at the face of divine. It feels good. It feels really good. I see it a lot. I see it from up here. This is a privilege. This is a privilege. This is a gift to me to stand here and be in facing the divine. So faith and trust and clarity is the triune principle of living a blessed life. Of living a truly blessed life. So this week, this month, the rest of your life, I charge you, enter a greater awareness of the power of your mind. Not one person has more power than the other. There's only one power. It's how we allow it to be for our lives. We either open the door or we close the door through our minds. And remember, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks of you. No matter what anyone thinks of you, you do know what to do. Because you are stuck on principle. And so it is.
So it is.
I would invite the ushers to